Ernesto de Verda's newfound form began in qualifying with pole position, but a terrible start put his main rival Mattia Colnaghi out in front as the field worked their way through in the first of 3 races at Paul Ricard in Eurocup-3. Colnaghi might have dominated the race had it not been for a safety car period to slow the field down. Ernesto de Verda and the rest of the field now had a chance to regroup and go after the leader once again. The first race of the weekend would claim 5 drivers: Alexander Cassava, Oscar Wirtz, Owen Tangavelu, Alsufel Benito and Lenny Reed. 5 drivers all wanting a decent result and having to figure out if they could get it done in the sprint race later on. With the field all bunched up and ready for another attack at the victory, Ernesto de Verda, the Mexican, was fired up and ready. For the rest of the race, their opposition just had to stare in amazement as Colnaghi and Rivera pulled away. And the battle became relentless. No matter where Ernesto de Verda put his car, it was easy for Colnaghi to hold on. Great work from both drivers meant that the race up front was intense to the last. But there was still more to come further back. Valerio Rinicella was having a much better weekend at Paul Ricard and was now putting Casper Stuka under some pressure. It was good news for the Italian, who needed his championship to have a bit more of a kick to it. Unable to pass at this stage, Rivera hung back a little to look after his tyres and preserve his chances of victory later. Mattia Colnaghi was ready for it, but he would really have to pull out the stops. With good battles everywhere you looked, Paul Ricard definitely entertained us in the opening race of the Eurocup-3 weekend, and Ernesto de Verda certainly put on a good show trying to get ahead of Mattia Colnaghi. But on this occasion, it was to no avail, and the Italian stallion Mattia Colnaghi became the first multiple winner of the 2025 season in Eurocup-3. Ernesto de Verda would cross the line in 2nd place, but would sadly receive a penalty post-race. That would drop him to 4th position, behind Valerio Rinicella and Casper Stuka. Jesse Kadashkado would come home in 5th position, in front of the hard-charging Enzo Tarvinichkul and the valiant Maciej Gladish. But with 2 races in the weekend still to go, there was more drama on the way. Santaloc's Garrett Berry was handed a fantastic chance to win his first race of the season from a reverse grid pole position. But with all the pressure of the chasing pack, would he be able to keep it? Francisco Macedo put him under pressure early doors, while Fittipaldi was having a fantastic race with James Zigotzi, 2 men who really wanted to reach the podium. But Francisco Macedo was determined to make up for his absence from the podium after a brilliant sprint race in Portimao. Could Paul Ricard be his redemption? There was certainly a lot of great opposition as Maciej Gladish was trying to make up good progress. Macedo was still hunting down Garrett Berry, and despite retirements from Alessandro Favolato and Jesse Kadashkado, the race was fairly serene. But not for the leaders. The pressure was all on the Englishman. Garrett Berry did not want to concede a victory for him and his Santaloc racing team. As it turned out though, he drove defiantly and led a fantastic race despite all the pressure from Macedo, Fittipaldi and Igozzi. Macedo was valiant in his retaliations, but there was nothing he could do to beat Garrett Berry on the day. Santaloc was triumphant, with Garrett Berry stealing his first victory in Eurocup-3. And what a performance it was. But would normal service be resumed on Sunday? From pole position, Casper Stuker was certainly hoping to become the 7th different winner in 8 Eurocup-3 races. He was going to have a lot of pressure from the outset. He lost the lead early doors to Rinicella and 2nd to Ernesto de Verda. So if Kacper Sztuka was going to take a victory, he would have to roll his sleeves up and go for it. Fortunately, he was assisted by an early safety car period, allowing no opportunity for Rinicella and Rivera to pull clear. Lorenzo Castillo was the man who was out of the race, and despite a quick restart, there would be another safety car period very quickly after. This was a great chance for Stuka. All he had to do was look after his tyres, and he'd have the upper hand on the restart. From here, his race would need to be calculated and methodical. Rinicella and Rivera were already threatening to pull clear in the early stages. Then Rivera dropped back into the clutches of Stuka, while Stuka's countryman Gladish was hopeful of another decent points finish. But Stuka had made light work of Ernesto de Verda, his next target, Valerio Rinicella. There was battles galore, as several drivers fancied their chances at decent points finishes. With Paul Ricard's reputation for being Slipstream City, there were no second chances, and drivers were really pushing the limits to see how far they could stretch their tyres. But on this occasion, there was not a lot that Rinicella could do. Stuker's move was bombastic and defiant. He got himself into the lead in fantastic fashion. The other drivers were all just trying to bring it home in one piece, but Casper Stuker's victory was crucial. Not only had he taken his first victory of the season, but he would actually put himself into the lead of the Drivers' Championship, 5 points clear of Colnaghi and Rivera, who were tied for second place. So the Polish driver excelled himself and became the 7th different race winner in 8 races. With Kacper Sztuka now the new championship leader, all roads in Eurocup-3 now lead to the Temple of Speed, Monza.